Get started here. We want to thank everyone for coming. We originally only invited the press here, and so the fact that there are other community members who decided to show up, I'm sure I speak on behalf of the Senator when she appreciates that you guys have decided to take time out of your day to come. It was very important for the Senator to speak to the community about what has happened and really share her story. And so I'm honored to have been given the opportunity to interview her here. And just so you all know, we're going to be videotaping this here, and that link we're going to be providing on YouTube. So that after the fact, if there's anyone who wants some video footage of this, you can have access to that. Just get in touch with one of us here, Karen and myself, and we'll be happy to provide that to you. I'm going to pass the mic over to the Senator. We only have one mic here. It's more important that you hear what she has to say than what I have to say. So I'm going to pretty much give her the mic and really start from the beginning and talk about how this all developed and why this is so important for you to address the community in such way. So you can take it away, and then I will do my best to project my voice without a microphone.
Good afternoon. I'm here today because I felt it was important for people to know exactly what led up to all of this. And I want to say to you that this is something that started some time ago. And when it started, I was quite surprised because I had no idea what was going on in my life. I didn't know the length of the investigation, and I didn't know who was doing it and why. And then, one day, a witness came to me, a person who said to me, "You're being targeted because of some of your deeds in the Senate." And naturally, I was surprised to find out who I was being targeted by. And from my witness and anyone who, my witness has met with my attorney, my witness has met with the IG, and my witness has met with some other top elected officials in the state. After listening to my witness, I realized I was being targeted basically by Malcolm Smith. And I was being targeted by him because I didn't vote for him. His words were, "You went with Brooklyn." And around, not only around the Capitol, but around the community, and many people know, he told people that he was going to take care of me. And my witness came forth, and I realized that was facts. That was facts. Unfortunately, no one got a chance to hear my witness because basically I didn't go to trial. If I went to trial, we'd have heard the witness. But I just want you to be aware of how people do things in Albany when you don't agree to go along. So all this started from there.
You touched upon it when you mentioned Malcolm Smith. I want you to dig a little bit deeper and talk about some of the things that happened between you and the Senator and how exactly you knew, with some specific examples, that Malcolm Smith was involved based on your relationship with him.
Well, what happened is, when I found out I was targeted, I went to the controller, Tom DiNapoli. I said to Tom, "What is going on? What is this about?" Tom said to me, "I can't go into detail, but this is not my idea. But I can't go into detail." I said, "Tom, I need to know more than that. Where is this coming from? Forget about what anyone think I've done, I haven't done, but where is this coming from?" And he says, "It came to me from Malcolm Smith, and after I decided it was really no reason to go through it, I was told to give it to Eric Stein, and he would take care of it." And that's what happened.
What reasons would Malcolm Smith and Eric Schneiderman have to do this to you?
Well, first of all, Malcolm Smith was upset because, in the Senate, I did not agree with all his moves. I did not vote for him. He was angry. He was very angry. The Attorney General, who is his good friend, I also had my moments with him in reference to the Montserrat case, things that I didn't agree with. For instance, I'll give you an example. When we had and I am no fan of hiring Montserrat by any chance, because anyone who touches women, I am no fan of, I'll be very honest. But when Hiram Montserrat was found guilty, and they wanted to dismiss him from the Senate, we had to do it by vote. And I said to the Attorney General, at that time the Senator, that I felt that the courts had already made the decision, and we were not the decision-making body, we were not law enforcement. So that was something that did not make him very happy. But I did believe, since the courts had already said that he would have a misdemeanor, whatever, that we basically should leave it alone. I was not in agreement. So that's, with the Attorney General, who, by the way, I supported in the election, and I supported him because most of the time you do support your colleagues. And that's how I got to support him. But there were things that he had asked me to do that were not kosher, and I was not doing them. And I think the two of us just, became enemies, frankly. So that's what happened with that.
I want you to kind of touch upon the culture up there in Albany, because a lot of people have, I'm sure everyone here has been aware and engaged with what's been going on with some of the arrests that have taken place and the overall culture that seems to exist up there, especially when you sort of do not toe the party line. So I want you to talk about the kind of culture that exists in Albany and why there seems to be this culture up there where people seem to just do whatever they want to do.
Well, when I was elected and went to Albany, I went there to represent my constituents. And let me just say this. The bottom line is, and I'm just going to touch briefly on the case. The bottom line is, I was not in the Senate. I was not in the Senate when the case happened. This was something that went back to 1994. So I was not in the Senate doling out money to anyone. I had no money to dole out. I was not a member. I didn't go into the Senate until 2007. I want you to understand that. But as I see it in the papers, and the papers reported, it's almost like I was in the Senate and I gave out hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is not fact at all. I was not there. The culture in Albany is they want you to go along with them. Whatever comes up, they want you to agree. And I am a person who cannot agree with everything. I never do that. And in fact, they call me the Lone Ranger when I was there, which is a funny name, but anyway. And that's because I was alone. I did what I had to do. I went to conference, I went to session, I went to my office. I did the job, and I was there on behalf of my constituents. I had no social life in Albany at all. I didn't attend any parties, any whatever, never, the 6 years I was there. Because I was there for business. I was there to take care of the work of the Senate. And on Thursday morning, I got in my car and came back down to Queens. I did not associate with any of the people there. I was not, it wasn't like it was a friendship thing. It was like they were my colleagues. I had a lot of problems with passing certain bills because my concern were poor and middle class people. A majority of the people in Albany are about rich people. I did not participate in any of those activities. I didn't run around and try to get lobbyists to give me money so I passed their bills. Never did that. I used to tell people when they give me money, it wasn't buying anything, and it wasn't. And if they didn't like that, then don't give me a check for my campaign.
You and I had a meeting prior. We spoke with your lawyer, Sally, and one of the things that stood out to me was when you said, and your Sally confirmed this, that even though this is sort of said and done, that you were still concerned that the Attorney General was still coming after you and targeting people close to you, and his office was doing things that, in your opinion, was trying to intimidate them. Can you talk about some of those specific things that you feel that he's been doing?
Well, the Attorney General has been in the neighborhood talking to people, trying to get people to talk about me. And what he doesn't understand, I've lived in this community for 40 years. So when he talks to people, people wonder what's going on, and naturally they will pick up the phone and call me and say, what's going on? Why is this going on? And most of the people are people who are involved with me one way or the other. If it's just people I know or people who I've done things for, but this is what he's doing. And I have concerns about that. And unfortunately, my attorney couldn't be here today because she has a case that's very important at this point, so she's out of state. But my attorney, Sally Butler, if the press needs to know some of the things that the Attorney General's office has said to my attorney, they can feel free to call Sally Butler and she will inform them of the conversations that they have had. Now, I know when I was in Nassau County Court for one case, and someone from the Attorney General's office spoke and said, oh no, we don't want jail time for her, blah, 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 in Nassau County, because she's going to get 18 months in federal prison. Which all of you know I didn't get 18 months anyplace. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. But these are the kind of comments, and you need to know the comments that they made to my attorney. They're very, very important. I can't tell, I know what they are, but I think they need to come from her. You can also speak to my attorney about my witness, who she has met with and talked to. You can also do that. You can do your homework. I'm just giving you the way to do it. Now, the Attorney General is upset with, again, we're going back to his election. He was upset with me about certain things that he wanted me to do. I was not a fan of Kathleen Rice because I don't know her, but I was not going to do anything that was going to damage her reputation. I wasn't going to do that, okay? I was not going to go to black folks and tell them they need to jump up and down and say that Kathleen Rice is a racist and she only locks up black people. I was not going to do that because that is not how I do business. And again, you can speak to my attorney and she can verify.
Why is it important for you to come out and speak out against this now? Give us a little bit of your thought process throughout the duration of this and why you felt it was important to come out and say something publicly.
Well, I think people need to know the whole story. I think they need to know what led up to this, how it happened, what my role was, what the other people did. I mean, there are other people other than me that are being targeted. I'm not the only one. When I tell you about me, that's because it's me and it concerns me. But there are other people who are being targeted, and there are other people who will be targeted, because that's what happens in Albany. That's what happens. And there are many people, I'm sure a number of you have seen in the paper and other issues with other senators, other electeds, and you read what happened to them 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And if you're in the right club, nobody comes after you. If you're in the wrong club, then you're the one. Okay, so, and I'm sure, and I know that you heard or read in the paper with Preet Bharara said there'll be more arrests. I'm sure there will. But let me also say to you, there are some senators in Albany that were there for the same reason I was, to do their job. I'm not going to label everybody, because everybody there is not there. There are some people there who work very hard. But then we have the others who are there for themselves and are there to be in the boys' club. And I have to say boys' club because it's mainly men, I have to be very honest. And they They have their own issues, and whatever they have to do to stay afloat, they will. If it means doing something to me, to another assembly person or senator, they will. They will.
Just following up on that, there was a report that you had taped other senators during several conversations, and I know you wanted to specifically address that because you wanted to alleviate some of your involvement in sort of their legal issues now. So I know that one of the reasons that you wanted to do this was to talk about that.
Okay, first of all, I know all of you saw John Sampson when he was arrested. I had no idea that John Sampson even ever dealt in real estate. I met John when I went to Albany. I was there with him for 6 years. I never had any discussion at all, or did John ever discuss that he was involved in real estate or had any issues. So that did not come from me. Okay, this was a 6-year, in fact, his attorney said on New York One, if you were listening, when a reporter asked in the audience, is this something to do with Shirley Huntley? And his attorney said, absolutely not. This has been 6 years this has been going on. I just want you to realize that. Okay. Everything that looks real is not. Because unfortunately, no pun intended to the press, but sometimes there are things that sound one way and that's not the way it is at all. Let me give you a prime example so we can just laugh for a minute. In one of the newspapers, there was a picture of me, a white poodle with pink sunglasses on in a bowl, which was my poodle. So says the newspaper. It said I took my poodle to work every day. I took my poodle to the best dog shops. I bought my poodle clothes. Now, never in my life have I ever owned a white poodle. Never. Okay? Oh, I only drink champagne. The only champagne I drink is at a wedding or on New Year's. Okay? But that was just something to make me look like, oh my God, she does all this. None of that story is true. Not 1 ounce of that story was true. And I just think that the papers should be fair and not come up with their own. Because I've never had a white poodle. But the poodle was cute. I wouldn't mind having one. It was adorable. So that wasn't the issue. The issue is, why not tell the truth?
I remember you talking about being out in the community, and there was one lady that you met at the supermarket who came up to you and she started crying. And there are probably many other constituents who have reached out to you, I'm sure, and have expressed their condolences. What would you like to say to those community members?
Well, first of all, I have more friends now than I had when I was in the Senate, which is amazing. People call me. My house is always packed with people, meetings, and people still call me for certain issues. I've been doing some volunteer stuff for the veterans. People bring me food. Me and my husband, they bring me food. They send me cards. I have stacks and stacks of cards. A lot of people know that this was a political attack. Regardless of what I did, it's not what I did, it's how it was handled. And it was a political attack. That's what it was. And I'm sure the Attorney General will say, oh, whenever crooks get caught, they always bring the prosecutor. I'm not doing that. I want you to understand. Okay? I'm not saying to him he shouldn't do his job. But what I am saying, there's certain ways you do your job. And you need to give the same respect to the black community as you do to other communities. And that has not happened. That has not happened. I mean, you can't go and tell people, you know, all black politicians are crooks. Can't do that. And that's not him, but that's still his staff. You can't do those kinds of things. It's not right. If you investigate properly. That's what you do.
You know, I'm one of those sort of deeper than the surface kind of people. And so as I was sitting here talking to you, I'm saying to myself, how the heck is she doing? You have sort of, you've gone through several months of what you've gone through. You've had personal triumphs and ups and downs, political ups and downs. How are you, Shirley Huntley, doing as an individual?
Well, first of all, God is good. And most of the people who support me, not there for me, are people with religion in their heart. And I have to say that not only the clergy, but my neighbors, the community, when I go to Rochdale Village to the mall, I mean, all those people have been fantastic. And they know what I've been going through. But God has sustained me, and I will continue to be sustained, because I know that in order to get through something, you must have willpower and strength. And, you know, I come from a family, very, very strong black women and men. So I keep my head high. My family has been so supportive. My husband, who I love dearly, has been by my side for 53, well, in June 29th, it'll be 54 years. So the good thing about it, before I go to jail, I'll be home for my anniversary, which is a good thing. But we will celebrate my birthday and my anniversary on June 29th. And I've already had people coming to me who want to plan some kind of activity deal, some kind of party or whatever for me and my family, which I truly appreciate. So I'm fine. I am fine. You know, Reverend Coyote, who keeps me in prayer, I mean, he texts me every verse in the Bible. And I thank him for that. And Reverend Norris and Reverend Sanders, who've been with me and just all the time. And they know the story. So what's something you are hearing here today, some people in the audience are aware of it already. Because I have not kept it a secret from people who support me. I think they need to know the truth.
Well, with that being said, I want to thank you for coming out and being someone who is unapologetically who you are. You know, things happen in life, and you have done, I think, the noble thing and sort of picking yourself back up and running with it. So I'm sure I speak for everyone. I say thank you so much for coming out today, and I'm sure I'd also speak for everyone else when I say we wish you all the best in your future and whatever life has in store for you. Thank you so much. I would be remiss if I did not introduce Reverend Norris, who was referenced in the comments. I believe you have something you would like to say, and I think it's also appropriate if you close us out in prayer.